Hello, Scorpios, and welcome to this, your early to mid-July reading and predictions. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. And for those of you who are new here, a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. My name is Marnie. I am known as the Intuitive Butterfly, and I am very pleased to be able to provide this service to you. We are moving into July, and I am coming to you from beautiful Athabasca, Alberta. Unfortunately, I am relegated to be inside rather than recording this for you outside as originally intended because we're under the threat of some thunderstorms today. Not surprising, we are on the verge of moving into a full moon on July the 3rd, known as the thunderstorm moon. Go figure, right? All right, so we all need to continue to be adaptable. It is also known as the full buck moon, and it is going to be a super moon, which means in all likelihood, we're all going to be feeling a little bit of whatever we normally feel when it comes time to experience these full moons that keep going round and round in the cycles. Given that I am starting your video by talking about cycles, Scorpio, let's jump in and see what the cards are going to show us. But I suspect we're going to be looking at something that involves some cycles for you, because I just started talking about cycles for no reason. So that's usually because there's a download coming in. Okay, Scorpios, we are going to start with looking at some energies of where you are at now. Also, my setup is a little bit different every time I come to you. I will be looking over to this side of me because the table in front of me is very small, so all of my decks of cards won't fit. I do have them lined up on a table next to me, so if you do see me staring off, you'll understand why. Okay, Scorpios. Where are the Scorpios at now, and what is influencing them here at the end of June as we move into July 2023? This reading is intended for anybody born under the sign of Scorpio, as well as anybody that has a significant amount of Scorpio elsewhere in their charts. We do have one card that has jumped out there, but I am sensing I am supposed to be going through this one more time for you, Scorpio. Okay. Maybe not. Anything else for Scorpio? Yep, there we go. I don't know if you saw that jump out. Whoa, now we've got cards flying everywhere. Now they decided to come out and speak to us. I do have a couple of cards on the floor here. I do not edit my videos, so enjoy. All right. What are you guys focusing on at this time, Scorpios? What are the Scorpios focusing on? Two cards have jumped out. Is there anything else? Yep, and that one's on the floor as well. This is the problem with dealing with very small tables. Okay. That one wants to stay on the floor. It keeps jumping. Okay. The next card that we're going to pull for you is cards of difficult influences, Scorpio. Where are we going for cards of difficult influences? Oh, interesting. I'm getting called to the Animal Tarot. This deck is no longer available. It was my very first tarot deck ever. It doesn't come out to play very often, but when it does, it usually speaks pretty loudly. So all right. So lucky you, Scorpio. The animals decided to kick out 4 cards for you for your difficult influences. The next card that we're going to pull for you is a card that I used to call This Makes Sense, but I've changed the wording of it because I had a few people reach out to me and go, that's not really working for me. So this is the card of a message that you need to hear at this time. Messages Scorpio needs to hear at this time. We have one card out. Is there any other message that Scorpio needs to hear right now? Okay. So I do have one card that is sticking up and one card that's jumped out. So we're going to pull this one out as well. The next card is your card of unexpected. What is unexpected for you? We're going over here to the Sacred Traveler. Ooh, I like it when this card comes, this deck comes out for unexpected. It's just a beautiful deck. So let's see what's unexpected for Scorpio. Okay, couple of cards there. All right, and the final cards that we're going to pull for you are going to be cards of your general overall outcome. And these are the cards that are going to predict or project where you're going to be at and what will be influencing you come mid-July. All right. Now, this is a new to me deck, but it's called loudly. I'm still getting used to it. And I think it's still getting used to my energies as well. So let's see what comes out. Don't. All right. Okay, let's get started with actually reading the cards, Scorpio. All right. So the cards of where you're at now. Yeah, okay. So we've got the Five of Cups coming in here, and this is a card of clinging to the past. Five of Water, also known as the Five of Cups. This is a card of being caught up in our minds and not being able to move forward because we're still holding on to the energies, threads, cords of the past. What's coming up for me is that there is some forgiveness work that you may want to explore doing at this time, Scorpio, in order to be able to let go of the past, because you'll notice on this card, if it'll come back into focus, it was in focus a moment ago. On this card, you've got the image of a female, and yet she's all caught up in all of this confusion and muddled mess up in her mind, rather than tapping into her heart in order to be able to see the direction, to be able to move forward. This card as well in the traditional tarot indicates that when we are in a relationship, sometimes, Scorpio, what happened to us in the past, the past hurts can come forward and unduly influence our current life and our current lifestyle and our current relationships. And that has a tendency to detrimentally affect a relationship that could be really beautiful. So like I said, I am really sensing here that there is a necessity for you to do some forgiveness work, and maybe even some shadow work, but less so the shadow work. This is more about some forgiveness work that needs to be done. The next card that you have, which I just dropped on the floor, that was very unprofessional of me, is the Three of Wands, also known as the Three of Fire here. This is a card of truly experiencing things, experiencing life, experiencing our emotions, and really being in the moment and being able to experience and feel things as they're happening. Now, given that you have the clinging to the past card right next to this experiencing card, is an indication that your emotions at this time may be quite raw and intense. Right next to this, you have the receptivity card. The receptivity card is the equivalent to the Queen of Water or the Queen of Cups. And this is a card of, being receptive to that which is coming in for us for the purposes of being able to embrace that which serves our highest good and release that which does not serve our highest good. And at this time, Scorpio, I'm really feeling like you're going to need to find this balance. And there's definitely some inner work here that you're going to have to do, especially given that you've got two of the suit of cups being represented here, indicating your emotions are probably feeling a little bit raw at this time. You're exploring a relationship. You're questioning if the relationship is serving your highest good. For the vast majority, I am sensing that this is a romantic relationship that you are exploring and questioning. But there are some of you that this may also be a business relationship, that you're looking at the dynamic of the business relationship. You may have been burned in the past, both romantically or in a business relationship. And that's why this clinging to the past card has come up. And you're questioning, is that going to happen to me again? And that is creating this experiencing of these raw emotions. And the receptivity card, the Queen here, is saying that in order for you to be able to move through or move past this, you have to experience and you have to be receptive to the emotions in order to be able to process them. You have one more card coming out in where you're at now, and it is a card of projections forward, and it is the King of Pentacles, also known as the King of Rainbows, indicating that abundance can be yours. Abundance is coming into you, but you do have some inner emotional work that needs to be done first. Once you get to work on that inner emotional stuff and letting go of that's not serving your highest good, there is going to be an abundance that's going to come forward to you. Now, don't forget that abundance is not just about money. Abundance can also be about bringing in a new partner. Abundance can be about birthing a new business, even birthing a child. That is bringing abundance into the world. All of these different things. So keep in mind, this is predicting that there is abundance on its way to you once you've done some emotional work. What do we have here? Okay. We have the Four of Autumn, also known as the Four of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Autumn, also known as the Ace of Pentacles. And we have the Justice card coming in for you, Scorpio, for what you are focusing on for the 1st through the 15th of July. The Four of Autumn is a card of finding balance. And in fact, in this particular deck, my Osho Zen deck, the Four of Pentacles is represented by the Miser. It is a card of balancing your budget, making sure that you don't have more going out than what you have coming in. And, this is a card of spend versus save. So this is one of the things that you are being called upon to focus on at this time, July 1st through 15th. Pay attention to your pennies. Now, full disclaimer, I am not a certified financial advisor. I have to go about saying this. But I mean, I am not legally authorized to give you financial advice. And yet the Four of Autumn is indicating, make sure you're balancing your budget. I mean, that is just general, overall common sense. Don't spend more than what you have coming in. All right, you have the Ace of Autumn coming in, the Ace of Pentacles coming in. This is a card of new beginnings with regards to work or career, and new beginnings with regards to money. Remember what I said, once you have done, now keep in mind, for those of you that are new here, I leave all of these cards are sitting face down until I'm actually ready to read them. So I don't know what your next cards are. I don't know what the difficult influences cards are, the messages are that you need to hear, until I actually turn them over. So the fact that this king was already indicating abundance is on its way to you, once you have done some emotional work and released some of these cords and ties to the past. The Ace of Pentacles is saying you definitely have a new beginning on its way to you with regards to work or career or money. This is about happy changes. But you have the Justice card coming in directly behind that. The Justice card is encouraging you to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing is balanced, right? We need to have the scales of justice balanced. And how do we go about doing that? We pay attention to the details. The Justice card asks us to make sure that if we are entering into any kind of contract or agreement, and that includes verbal contracts or agreements, make sure the details are really, really specific at this time, Scorpio. And what's coming in for me just intuitively right now is the CYA or CYB philosophy. Don't know where that came from, but it just was a download. Cover your butt. CYB or CYA for those of you that prefer that wording. The Justice card is the CYA card. Okay, cover your butt. Make sure that any type of agreement that you're entering into with this Ace of Autumn and with this King of Autumn coming in, or King of Rainbows coming in, make sure anything that you are entering into at this time that you have done your due diligence and that you are making sure that it is a fair deal all round. Difficult influences, you have the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Three of Wands. Ooh, interesting, right, Scorpio? What was this card? Three of Wands. Okay, so now you have the Three of Wands coming in again in your difficult influences. That's not surprising. You have the Star coming in and you have the Ace of Wands coming in here. All right, so let's have a look at these individually. The Knight of Earth or Knight of Pentacles coming in is represented by the cougar. And the cougar has a tendency to stalk its prey. It knows what it wants and it goes after it. Scorpio, this is in your difficult influences. What does that tell me? That's telling me that at this time, Scorpio, you may be struggling a little bit with coming into your own power and with stalking your prey. That's probably why this Justice card came up in what you are being called upon to focus on. Is when we are a little bit distracted, what's coming in for me intuitively and psychically for you right now, Scorpio, is that something is going to be presented to you sometime in July, and it's going to be too good to be true. Okay. The cards are indicating that there is an amazing, fantastic offer coming your way. There's abundance coming your way. There's a new beginning coming your way. But it has a caveat attached to it. And that caveat is that something is not going to be fully in alignment. And the Justice card and the Cougar card coming up in your difficult influences is indicating that you're going to have to really pay attention to the details, and you're going to have to go after what you want. You're going to have to stalk it a little bit. You have the Three of Wands coming in here for the second time. As I mentioned already, this is the experiencing card, being put in a position, Scorpio, where you have to experience your emotions, where you really need to process things in order to be able to let go of stuff, can be very difficult. And so this is just kind of your reminder. It's represented by the salamander, but it is about experiencing. We know that salamanders are very, very sensitive to their environments. And yeah, so just pay attention to your emotions. They may be a little bit more raw than usual, Scorpio, but it's not something that you cannot overcome. You have the star coming out represented by the firefly. Who doesn't love a firefly, right? I mean, and it's unique that this is coming out at this time of the year for those in the Northern Hemisphere, because fireflies are out usually at the end of June. And for some people, early July, depends on how warm their spring was as to whether the fireflies are still around. But this card is the star. This is a very, very positive card. It's about spiritual awakenings. It's about good things coming into our life. It's about us being star seeds and being connected to the universe, all of those wonderful, amazing things. This is in your difficult influences, indicating that it's not as obvious. It's not that it's not there right now, Scorpio, but it's not as obvious as it could be. And you have the Ace of Wands coming in here, also known as the Ace of Fire. New beginnings, more new beginnings. This is represented by the frog. I do want to say it's interesting to me that you have the Ace of Pentacles over here, and you've got the Ace of Wands here. This is indicating that there's something new coming in for you with regards to work, job, career, and money. This is indicating that in order for these two pentacles that came up earlier, this King of Pentacles, and for this Ace of Pentacles to come into full fruition for you, Scorpio, the Ace of Wands is asking you to be proactive about it. Ace of Fire, right? Someone's lit a fire underneath you. You need to take action. The fact that this card came up in your difficult influences and it's being represented by the frog indicates that there may be some hesitation on your part to actually be taking the action that you need to be taking in order to be able to succeed and reach this abundance of this King of Pentacles here. What happens if we light a fire under a frog? They jump and away they go. But if you put a frog in a pot of water and then turn the pot of water on, the frog sits there until the water gets too hot for it. Scorpio, this is in your difficult influences. This is telling me you need to be the frog with the fire lit underneath it, not the frog that's in the pot. You need to be taking action. Messages you need to hear at this time. Follow the golden rule. We all know what the golden rule is. Do unto others as you would have done to you. Okay. That actually is interesting that that comes up, given that your first few cards that you had out were about clinging to the past, experiencing emotions, and being receptive to the lessons in that so that you can move on. The other card that you have in messages you need to hear right now is accept struggles as lessons. Okay. The golden rule, do unto others as you would have done to you, is vaguely about karma, but not entirely. The golden rule is more about forgiveness. What did I say when I first turned over this clinging to the past card? I said I really felt that there was some forgiveness that needed to be done, forgiveness work and shadow work that needs to be done, Scorpio, in order for you to be able to move into this place of abundance. Follow the golden rule is the message you need to hear in relation to that, that there is this necessity to be kind despite maybe not feeling like you want to be kind right now. And the other thing that you have here is the accept struggles as lessons. Okay. When we accept that the struggles that come into our life are actually lessons for us, beautiful things come out of that. And I know when you're in the middle of a struggle or an emotional breakdown or the ending of a relationship so that something new can come in, it doesn't feel that way. And the emotions are really raw. But the reality is that when you accept that the speed bumps that are put in our lives are put there so that we can learn lessons to be able to move forward, it's actually very, very healing for us. Okay. So in your unexpected, you have valiant courage. Take action with passion. Ace of Wands, take action. Have some courage, step forward, light that fire, and begin to be taking action there, Scorpio. And you also have cleansing waters. Purification activates your vibrant life force. Okay. What this is telling me, Scorpio, is that during the month of July, particularly the first part of July, when the emotions become really raw, when you are experiencing those emotions and you're just going, I can't take this anymore, turn to water. Turn to water, whether that be going for a swim. As I mentioned right off the top at the beginning of this reading, July 3rd is the full thunderstorm moon. So, if it is safe to do so and there's a rainstorm, I mean, I don't really recommend going out and playing in huge puddles during a thunderstorm and getting hit by lightning. By no means should you be doing that. But during a rainstorm, if there are some puddles in your neighborhood, go splash through those puddles. You would be amazed at how cleansing that actually is to experience that. Again, going back to this Three of Wands, experiencing things, experiencing the childlike joy of splashing through a rain puddle is actually really healing. So it's not just about going out. I mean, you have this card here, this Four of Pentacles here, basically giving you the heads up that you need to be budgeting, making sure that you don't have more going out than what you have coming in. And then you have this card. And for many of you, what I'm sensing is you're going, woohoo, free reign. I can go and book a day at the spa because the spa uses lots of water and that's very healing for me. But you've got this Four of Pentacles here saying, make sure that you're balancing your budget. Go splash through a rain puddle. It is actually just as cleansing and healing and therapeutic as going to a spa for many of us, because it brings out that childlike wonder and curiosity that so many of us are missing in our lives right now. So definitely seek out water if that means going and taking a bath, a soothing bath, maybe putting in some essential oils or something that makes you feel good. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to book a day at the spa. Find a different way of enjoying water, sitting at a river's edge and journaling for an hour, going out to a lake and paddling or kayaking for the day. All of these things involve water. They soothe and calm our souls and our psyches. And Scorpio, this is what you're being called upon to do in order to be able to tame some of these other emotions that are coming up with these two Three of Wands coming in for you. General overall outcome. You have prophets and ancient seers, decisions and predictive guidance. This is an indication that at this time, by the middle of July, because these are your outcome, by the middle of July, you're going to be in that place where you're really going to be digging in and seeking some deeper inner guidance, not just looking at the 3D reality physical world. You're going to be wanting to explore deeper prophecies and looking for predictive guidance, including watching videos such as this, doing some deeper meditations, again, looking to cleansing waters for the purposes of purification of our mind, cleansing and clearing our minds so that we have that clarity to be able to tap into the ancient prophets and seers. And finally, you have elementals coming in for you, Scorpio. And the elementals are all about making sure that we're tapping into all of the four, actually, there's 5 elements, but making sure that we're tapping into all 5 of the elements and integrating those into our healing path, integrating those into these aces that came up for you, right? Because you've got, where'd it go? You did have another ace here. Oh, well, I can't find it quickly enough. Anyway, there it is. These aces that are coming in for you, both the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Fire coming in. With these aces coming in, you have some new beginnings, and this card is making sure that you, or recommending for you, that you make sure that in any new endeavor, you have that balance between earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, and doubly reinforce the spirit because you've got this card coming in, the prophecies and the ancient seers. All right, Scorpio, thank you so much for being here and riding this out till the end. If this resonated with any of you, please consider giving the channel a like and subscribe. Also, if this resonated deeply with you, I am available for personal consultations, and all of my contact information is down below. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you again in mid-July for your next reading.